Too easy.
7 feet.
5 feet. Am I meant to be coming in right now?
It's hot. I'm sweating. Why are you cooking all the bacon?
Because they're gonna take it and we're eating it. God.
Get him, Barbs, get him! So happy to be here.
I sat in the bank for 4 hours.
Here comes the bride, 50 meters wide. The zip just snapped.
With Hurricane Irma, boats tossed. Here we are at this marina.
Hi, my name's Colin. I used to be a chief engineer on super yachts, but gave it all up to buy a hurricane-damaged Lagoon 450. My friends and I are fixing it up as we go, and are determined to circumnavigate the entire planet. So subscribe if you want some inspiration to live life to the fullest. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So what are you waiting for?
Initial Starlink review. Incredible. They didn't sponsor us. This is not a paid promotion. This is my genuine initial review. What an absolute game changer. We took it out of the box.
Okay, already broken.
And like 20 minutes later, we had 100 megabits per second coming down to the entire boat in the middle of nowhere. In a random bay in Mexico. Absolutely amazing. So this means we can upload episodes all the way up the coast. You don't have to find restaurants and bars and stuff to do these uploads for you guys anymore. It's an absolute life changer. I mean, we're saying, holy shit, what's been dripping on that? That's our good pump. That's the good one. By the way, because we're in such a salty environment here and trying to edit with all these laptops and whatnot, we probably go through a laptop every year and a half. Maybe the salty air blowing through here, but they just don't last no matter what we do. So it was just getting outrageous how much we were spending on laptops. So I found a company called Loop Mobile and they sell used Macs. It would have been like $3,000 new, but they're selling it reused for like $2,000. So it's a massive savings, and they give you a 1-year warranty as well for it. So if you guys aren't keen to spend money on brand new items, this is 1 year old. This has been a massive find. I think obviously huge savings for a channel like us who go through so many damn laptops. It's frustrating. I have to keep a spare laptop in case this one fails. And then Brit's the same, just so that we can keep editing. So the expense that goes into these laptops is insane. So it's just a little tip if you're like me and you hate spending money on new things when you can buy a refurbished one for a lot cheaper. Loop Mobile. Okay, we've come around the corner. We are gonna try to get into Marina Chahue to clear in. One of our new crew is waiting here, so
No, you just want to speak with me.
I think either me or Brit has the most Spanish, so I'm gonna give this a go. Don't laugh. Marina Chahue, estamos Parlay, Parlay. Do you copy? Buenos días. Estamos en un catamarán de 45 pies. Podemos entrar la marina, por favor.
Adelante para Marina Chahue.
Too easy. That was quite hard.
That was really hard.
7 feet. Oh my lordy.
5 feet. Am I meant to be coming in right now? We had arrived in Huatulco to clear into Mexico, but as this was a last-minute decision to come here, we had absolutely no idea what to expect. So we're gonna have to be quick because the wind's gonna want to push us onto that super yacht. We've got the wind going that way, and it's a nice, the most expensive boat in the marina right there. The wind's pushing us onto him. Okay, here we go. No one's allowed off the boat. Not allowed to dispose of any rubbish. Dogs have to stay on the boat. We're gonna have to tell Al she can't come on the boat. I've got to start the process by going to the office with him. Let's see how we go. No cameras.
It's hot. I'm sweating. Oh, I have a sweat. Yeah, it's wet here.
It had become apparent that clearing us into Mexico was going to take me a long time, as there is a lot of paperwork to be completed for any boats arriving from overseas, so I left the crew to their own devices.
Get him, Barbs! Get him!
If you start this, I'm
Get him! That's your walking morning.
Okay, just finished at the marina office. That's stage 1 of about 48 stages.
We were soon boarded by customs officials who told us we were unable to import any uncooked food, even frozen food, into Mexico. We were given 2 choices, either throw it all in the trash in front of them, or...
We're gonna cook as much as we can.
Why are you cooking all the bacon?
Because they're going to take it and we're eating it. Fuck off.
Don't film this, this is horrendous. I'm cooking from frozen, so it looks a bit weird.
The dogs need to have history of like being dewormed in the last little while. So now we've got a vet to come down here. She's going to do the inspection, make a piece of paper for that, which is going to go to the sanitation guys so that they can finish their inspection. They're going to take all of the organic food that we haven't cooked, so we've tried to cook everything that we have. And then I think that's about all we can do for today. Tomorrow we've got to do immigration, customs, port captain, and that doesn't give me enough time to go to Salina Cruise 2.5 hours away, so I'll have to do that the next day. This is dragging out a little bit.
So the preliminary stage to clearing in was done, which meant we were now allowed off the boat, but also we were allowed to bring on our newest crew member.
Ella's here. Ella's here.
Yay, how's it going?
Really good.
Oh, it's so good.
So happy to be here.
Yes.
Yes, finally. My name is Elle and I am technically from Scotland, but I've been living in BC, British Columbia, Canada for the past 9 years now. I love to sail. I have a 41-foot Irwin citation. I've had it for 5 years now, so try and get out sailing as much as possible because I want to bring my boat down here. I really want to be like the recce mission to go and check out the coastline and get more experience, overnight passages. Yeah, and just meet like like-minded people, you know, that are also doing this and living the dream and, you know, just spending as much time in the water as possible.
The next entire day was spent doing paperwork, which we won't bore you with, but the following day I had to drive 2.5 hours to get a temporary import permit. It was quite the process.
So I'm here in Salina Cruz, 2.5 hour taxi to get here. My wonderful driver, and I sat in the bank for 4 hours to get these papers, which is the temporary importation of Parlay into Mexico. I have to remember to cancel it before we leave, or else it'll still be technically imported into Mexico. So it hasn't been easy, it hasn't been cheap. It's going to be worth it because we're in Mexico, and Mexico is awesome.
Finally, after having completed the long-winded check-in process, we were free to explore the Mexican coastline. Well, sort of. Mexico is really strict with monitoring all marine traffic on their coast, so we were going to have to check in and out of every single port we went to.
Absolutely regretting this decision to come out.
What about pulling into one of those
Look how rough it is. This is the Tehuantepec chop coming towards us, and then behind us is today's chop going that way, so we're just in this washing machine right now. When you've got 2 different swells, 2 different directions, it's kind of not safe anyway.
We got our own thing, we don't need no rain. We ain't rich, but son of a, we're a hillbilly king and queen. Life don't seem so hard with you beneath the stars, 'cause we're growing 4-leaf clovers in the yard.
This boat's so funny, eh? Just the jib just snaps and when you can't like, it's fine, don't worry about it, I want to bring it in anyway.
The temporary repair we had done on the headsail had finally given way, but luckily we were right next to the anchorage we were going to.
This is called Bahia Conejo. We're anchored in this tight little bay, massive resort behind us, but we're like 150 feet from those rocks. It's not ideal. We got a good holding. You know, it's a big sandy beach, so hopefully we landed at some sand there. Might go for a swim, check on the anchor. Also, I've told you guys many times before, but this is my anchor alarm. That's where we drop the anchor.
So I've put a really tight circle for us to swing around in here. So when we swing here, we're going to be close to those rocks, but the second that we're outside of my circle, I'll be up on deck. But the wind wasn't forecasted to be from here, it was forecasted to be from there. The swell wasn't forecasted to come from there, it was forecasted to come from there. So the forecast has just been so wrong in the whole of Central America pretty much.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt.
Here comes the bride, 50 meters wide.
I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way.
Oh, not again, Tom. So our temporary repair on the clue of the headsail, which blew out in Panama, has now failed. 10 years, she's broken right there. So we'll have to do another repair, but we've actually found some proper Dyneema line and we'll just retie that to the clue. It's lasted a long time. We've done a lot of miles. Miles. I've done like 4 or 5 countries since then. It's 1,000 miles from Costa Rica to here, I know that much. So it lasted really well. I think Jamie's volunteered to tie it back together. Look at that bronze body glistening in the sun. I'm gonna get a big needle. I'm gonna go through one, around, through another one, around, and keep going until I use up most of the line and I can come back and tie it off onto this.
And here we have the Australian sloth in its natural habitat. No fucking idea, hanging from the top.
Oh, the swell just picked up nicely. Doesn't look the prettiest, but like I said, we already had a brand new precision sail ready to ship to us, but we just needed an address to ship it to. So this repair didn't have to last too long. The Ray's just arrived in that next bay over there, so we're gonna go pick her up. My anchor alarm's going off because I left the boat. Made it!
Hello everyone, my name is Nerea and I'm from the Basque Country in the north of Spain, and I will be joining the Parlay crew for the next few months. My journey started a few years ago when I was sailing with Expedition Drenched, and then I met one of my besties, Jordan. I learned everything that I needed to know about sailing, editing, and this YouTube crazy world from her. I haven't been on a boat for a little bit now, so I needed to just get back on the horse and just do it, because I think that this lifestyle, it's my lifestyle now, and I wouldn't change it for anything else.
The next morning we left early to make our way to Puerto. We were moving quite quickly up the coast because we were going to organise a huge meetup with our Patreons up near the Sea of Cortez. And then we had to get ready to cross the Pacific Ocean to French Polynesia, so we were on a bit of a tight schedule. We seem to be running low on power lately. It's never really got up to 100%. Not sure why. There's 8 of us now, a lot of fridges are getting opened and closed. It's just a lot more power usage, I think. So we want to run this little Honda generator and just pump some charge into the boat and then make some water at the same time. I'm just cleaning up the connections here on the shore power plug. They're really oxidized, so I'm just going to scrape all that oxidation off and put some dielectric grease over it to protect it again. If you've got bad contact, you've got bad conduction of electricity, and if you've got bad conduction, the current goes up and it can heat up to the point where it's red hot and catch fire. So right now we've got everything just working to the max. We've got the water maker running off this inverter. We've got the generator charging through this inverter. That's putting in 160 amps into the batteries right now. All the charge controllers. What's that? Multiple plus inverter grid loss. It was too much. I thought it would have put 150 amps in from the charger to the batteries, and then the batteries would go through the inverter to the water maker, but it's trying to take it all from here. I'll turn the charger off on the inverter, and then the solar will charge the batteries, and then this will just go through the inverter and run the water maker only. We've got the generator putting power through the inverter into the batteries, and that is about 150 amps. But we've got the inverter pulling power to the water maker, about 1,000 watts, and then the boat itself is pulling about 500 watts. But the solar is putting in to the batteries 1,200 watts. When we run the inverter as a charger as well, it was taking generator power, but also using the generator to run the water maker. So it was too much for the generator to do that. I'm going to turn the water maker off and let the generator just charge the battery. So that's going into the batteries anyway. Then we'll turn the generator off and then just run the water maker. It's just going to take its power at a later time. But for the daily usage, it's going to be exactly the same. Boom. So now the generator is pumping in 1,500 watts and it's charging the batteries. 175 amps going into the batteries right now. This makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Clear as mud? You get
Sailing,
it? Yeah.
Sailing for Dummies Part 3.
The fact that that didn't work isn't a problem with the inverter or any of this Victron or Battleborn stuff. It would have totally worked. The only problem is that generator is only 2.2 kilowatts. It was just too much power for the generator. It's not often that we run this generator and do this, so I'm just making sure that nothing gets too hot here. There's 178 amps of power coming out of this DC system now from the inverter, and it's coming through the switch here, so I'm just checking the back of this switch, and it is warming up for sure. 15 years on boats, I've seen a lot of switches melt, fuses melt, breakers melt, with things getting too hot because of bad connections and stuff. So that's what we're checking here.
We're in the Port of Angels, so there's no sin or bad behavior allowed here, okay? We'll have to be on our best behavior with our halos above our heads.
It's pretty beautiful. Little beach here. Lots of boats around. It's pretty stunning.
I think we're going to the beach for tacos.
Tacos again. It's gonna be delicious food. I haven't had any chance to eat any Mexican food yet, so I'm excited for us to go for dinner. Do you wanna go for tacos? How's everyone's tummies this morning? Not so good.
Your mate's no good, eh? No, he just sent me a message saying lift the anchor and go. Can't come out, he reckons.
It's hard to say it was one of the worst food that I had in Mexico ever.
Fucking taco on here is better than what I've tasted. I had too much of that hot sauce last night.
Yeah, same for everybody, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone's sick.